Welcome back to my channel. I'm James, and today we're going to be reviewing kind of one of these cult classic Wes Craven movies that has kind of grown in cult status over the years. When it originally came out, it wasn't so hugely popular, but as time has gone on, his movies have kind of grown more and more so in cult status. Well, I'm happy to announce today we're going to deep dive into Cursed on Blu Ray. And this is the brand new Shout Factory and Scream Factory release that's going to be coming out here in about 2 weeks. So I did get this 2 weeks early for review, sent to me straight from Shout Factory and Scream Factory. So big shout out to them. I really appreciate them sending this to me for review. As always though, no matter what's sent to me for review, it never affects my review score. So at the end, when I get to my review score, it's always a sum up of special features, quality, if this is worth spending your money on and something you should buy. I'll break down what you get in this set, kind of show you a quick unboxing on this, and talk about the movie while we kind of go through this. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure to go down there and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. And don't forget to give this video a like and a thumbs up, everyone that's watching this. That way I know that you enjoyed this video that I created. Now, talking about this release here, this is the collector's edition, and there's some unique things about this that I found out when I was diving into this. Now, while I'm talking to you about the movie here, I'm going to show you some screenshots up above of the actual Blu-ray release here. And I took those directly from the discs themselves. Those are unfiltered images. What that means is that's without all the things that your TV, if you have your color saturation up to 100 or whatever the case is, this is the natural image that's present on these discs. And we'll talk about that a little bit more here in just a few minutes. But I want to touch on the movie here itself for a second. Basically, I went to see this when I had nothing to do. That's my memory from going to see this. I was kind of wandering through the mall, saw this on the screens and said, hey, I'll just go in for a random movie. I actually enjoyed it. Did I think it was amazing? No. Is it one of those things that doesn't have some slight maybe plot holes and some odd pacing? Yes. Is it Wes Craven's best movie ever and Kevin Williamson, who's actually the writer in this film? No. But to me, it does hold a soft spot just because I remember the nostalgic factor of going to theaters, seeing it. I had nothing going on, just kind of wandering the mall, and I enjoyed it. So I was happy when I had this arrive to actually go into and dive into this because I haven't seen this since I think DVD was the last time I owned this. And so it's one of those things, the DVD was never great looking. I mean, a lot of DVDs just really aren't good looking anyways. Now, the nice thing about this new Cursed here, talking about the images you're seeing above here, this did get a brand new 4K scan from the original camera negatives. So Scream Factory and Shout Factory basically went in and did it from the original camera negatives for both the theatrical cut and the unrated cut that is included on separate discs in this set. Now, to me, that's a big bonus. As most of you know that have watched this channel for a while, I love having multiple cuts of a film where I'm not limited to where I only get one cut that maybe wasn't my favorite. And for this film, that makes a huge difference because personally, even though I saw the theatrical cut in theaters, I actually always thought the unrated cut was better. And I was correct. When I watched it again on here versus the theatrical cut, the unrated cut has basically an additional 3 minutes of footage. So theatrical was 97 minutes. The unrated cut is 99 minutes. That additional 3 minutes you might not think makes a huge difference, but it really does. It helps with some of the pacing issues, as well as there's actually, and I'll show you some screenshots above here, not meaning to offend anybody here because obviously there is violence in this. The unrated cut is unrated because it's an extra violence, blood, and gore. And if any of you have ever seen like Wes Craven or Kevin Williamson's films, a lot of times they're horror, action, adventure, mystery type things. Well, same thing with this. So there is blood and things that were not in the PG-13 cut that was released in theaters that basically got edited out. So it was nice getting that in the unrated cut, and the 4K scan on this on 1080p HD for the Blu-ray does look good on it. Now, my personal opinion, I wish it was on a 4K Ultra HD disc. As most of you know, I do love 4Ks, but I do have some good news about this Blu-ray. Shout Factory and Scream Factory usually does a pretty good job, and I buy a lot of their things to collect over the years. So I was really excited that they're actually starting to send me things for review. That's a big deal for this channel now, and I've been working on that for a long time. So that's a huge exciting thing for all of you. Now I'll be getting Shout Factory and Scream Factory releases, so I can review those early for all of you here on this channel. Well, just like with this one, it's about 2 weeks early before the release date. The actual presentation of what you see for that Blu-ray up above looks really good. And I'll explain what I mean. So they did a good 4K scan from the original camera negative. Now, most of this film is pretty dark. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing, is it's supposed to be like in the dark, kind of like Scream was and things like that. Well, the nice thing about this Blu-ray is it didn't have any overcompression, any blocking, or any black crush. And that's something recently I just talked about on the Moonfall release. I did that 4K versus Blu-ray image comparison review. And if you haven't checked out that review yet, you can go check that one out after you get done watching this one. But I talk about that one, and there's some big differences between the Blu-ray and the 4K on that release. I mean, the Blu-ray was really bad on that. And it had really bad black crush, and it had some banding. It had numerous issues in the corners of the screen, especially anytime it was dark in space or there was dark scenes. Well, the nice thing about Cursed here is they actually took their time to release this Blu-ray correctly. Now, obviously, Shout Factory didn't release Moonfall like what I was talking about, but that's just a studio like Lionsgate that didn't do a good job with the Blu-ray version, and that's where, in that case, that 4K was a drastic upgrade over the actual Blu-ray. Well, I'm happy to announce in this, the actual Blu-ray on this does look really good. The blacks had very deep saturation. Now, obviously, it's not going to be like with HDR, but on the Blu-ray, it still looked good. It's not obviously HDR level, but there wasn't any of that black crush, which makes a big difference with blocking and black crush that you'll see in really dark scenes. I didn't have any of that throughout either cut of these films, and they did hold up substantially well. Now, as you're seeing above, there is natural film grain in it as well. They didn't DNR it out. So I really appreciate when Shout Factory or these companies don't DNR out the natural film grain, especially when you're scanning the original camera negatives. It's important to leave that natural film grain in there and not use the program Neat to either basically take it out and remove it or to get rid of it completely with DNR. Well, it is naturally in this. So there is a nice filmic natural film grain over this that does look nice when you're watching it, and they didn't take that out. So it does add natural depth and detail, as I said, when they leave that natural film grain in. It does leave that in it, and there's numerous scenes throughout where you can see nice facial textures and things like that. Now, obviously, it's not a 4K or native 4K, so you're not gonna see the level of detail you would see in a native 4K release, but for a Blu-ray release, that did look really nice, and a lot of the scenes had some really nice details in them overall. And because there wasn't any playback issues between either of the cuts of the film, that made it a really nice experience between both of these. And that's the thing that kind of Shout and Scream Factory does, is they release a lot of these cult classic films that were maybe never huge enough originally when they were released, but have grown over time. That's why I love a lot of their releases as a studio, because they are a lot of these kind of like collectible boutique labels, and I really do like them for that reason. Now, talking about what you get in this set, you do get a really nice slipcover on this. I like this. It says Collector's Edition. If any of you collect a lot of these Shout Factory slipcovers are a big deal. I've been collecting them for years, and they're up there behind me. There's about 3 or so rows of them there. And a lot of these slipcovers are a big deal. So if you are going to pick this up after watching my review, make sure to wait to my review score at the end. But if you do decide to pick this up, I'll have the link posted down in the description section and as a pinned comment. That takes you straight out to Amazon. I've made it nice and easy for you. You click on that, takes you straight out there, and that's at no extra charge to you. So when you click on that, it helps support this channel just a tiny bit, but it doesn't charge you anything extra. It's the same prices everywhere. So make sure if you're gonna pick it up, go down to one of those links down below. Now, on the side here, it does say Cursed, same picture of Christina Ricci on the side there. And then on the back here, it has a nice slipcover here where it kind of shows off the film. Talking about special features here for a second, there is some new special features that were commissioned just for this release. And I always like when they add in those special features, especially like a lot of you know I've talked about digital. I don't like digital because you really don't get special features behind the scenes and making of stuff like that anymore. Well, you get a bunch of them on this. Obviously, it talks about the new scan. You get behind the things, the making of Cursed, the Cursed effects, creating, editing 101, becoming a werewolf, theatrical trailers, scene selections. It talks about commentaries, numerous different commentaries. So you get a really nice selection of special features that they've added, especially with the new ones they added. It looks like there was 2 new ones that were specifically commissioned for this release that I like having those extra bonuses in there that kind of go into it. It talks about the production issues behind this. And it is kind of one of those things. Cursed was kind of a big fiasco when it originally came out. It had multiple editing and cut downs and different studio interference and actors leaving and new actors coming in. So it is one of those things that I do feel like the unrated cut's the best version because it gets more of what was intended to be in the film. So that is the one I do suggest watching if you're going to watch one for the first time. But I will warn you, the unrated cut does have quite a bit more violence and gore. But it is a werewolf movie, so I don't really know what you're coming in to watch if you didn't expect that. But just letting you know. Now, when you take off the slipcover, you do get a different cover behind it, and this is reversible on it. You can have this as your reversible slipcover, or you can use this one, which is the kind of like reddish unrated cut, which I actually like that, having the reversible covers, and that's where Scream Factory does a good job giving you those reversible covers. I always enjoy those, but I switch them around just like with my Arrow releases to the opposite of what the actual slipcover has on it. Artwork on the back is just slightly different. It has a different picture on it, but it says all the exact same things on it. Now, when you get inside here, as I said, it is on 2 different discs, which I always appreciate when they do that, because it doesn't get over compressed and they're not trying to shove all the special features, all the cuts of the movie, the audio options onto 1 disc. They did give us 2 discs, so that's nice. Now, as always, I exclusively test all of the discs here on my YouTube channel for all of you worldwide. Now, going through my testing on these, both discs are on BD50s. So plenty of room for the content because it's a Blu Ray 1080p. Plenty of room for the content and the special features. I didn't have any issues with either of those. Though when I did test it for my worldwide audience, if you live outside of Region A, they are Region A locked. So you will need to have a region-free player, which I've talked about those on this YouTube channel for years. I've done tons of video reviews on those, so if you want to check those out, they're available on my YouTube channel as well. But you will need a region-free player if you live outside of Region A territory. So like Canada, Mexico, obviously the USA, that's all Region A territories. But if you live in like the UK and you want to get this, you will need to have a region-free player. They are 100% region locked, and it didn't matter what I put them in, they won't play unless you have a region-free or multi-region player. Now, Cursed is in the aspect ratio of 2.40 to 1. So that's the aspect ratio of both the theatrical and the unrated cuts. Audio-wise, it is nice that we did get 2 different audio mixes. You get English DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 and an English DTS HD Master Audio 2.0 stereo. Now, to me, the 5.1, the DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, that's the audio mix I enjoyed. I didn't really think the stereo was that great. Some people like watching things in stereo, and sometimes if it's a really old movie, I'll enjoy that. But overall, I thought Curse sounded really good in the Master Audio 5.1 mix, and I didn't have any audio lags, audio issues where the sound timing was off, where they'd be talking and it would come out. And that was the same between both cuts of the movie. So when I watched both and went through those, I didn't have any issues with either one of them. So that's good news. The audio did sound crisp and clear. It had nice range through it. It wasn't a dull mix. And I've talked about this sometimes before on some boutique labels that I've reviewed in the past. Sometimes they'll put an audio mix that it's really like dull or quiet sounding. Well, the nice thing is on Cursed, it wasn't that way at all. I didn't have to turn it way up to hear it. The audio mix sounded perfectly fine, and it had some good range for it for the audio mix, and no audio issues whatsoever. Subtitles, you do get English subtitles, but that's it. So like I said, you get English audio options and English subtitles. Now, I did think watching Cursed again, especially on the unrated cut and the theatrical cut, unrated cut's where it's at. And this transfer was very clean and just good looking overall. I didn't have any issues with anything on the disc, and I think for Scream and Shout Factory's release of Cursed, it's a pretty darn enjoyable release. And especially if you're looking to collect a lot of these Wes Craven or Kevin Williamson films, this is one you're definitely going to want to add to your collection. So my review score for this is an 8.8. And that's a good review score, and it's recommended. I think the transfer is good on it. There wasn't any issues with it. Obviously, the film itself could have been 100 times better if it would have had a lot of less studio interference and things like that. But this is what it is, and we do get both cuts of the film, and this is the best presentation Cursed has ever had. So it's definitely recommended to pick this up, especially if you're a collector of Shout Factory or Scream Factory. This is one you're going to want to add, especially in the first pressing. Like I said with these slipcovers, these are huge collectible with Shout Factory, and any of you that know what I'm talking about, make sure to comment down in the comment section below. If you've ever tried to buy these slipcovers or get them after the first pressings, they go for ridiculous amounts online. eBay, Amazon, they sell just the slipcovers themselves for more than any of the movies, and it's ridiculous. But it is a collectible thing, and those of us that collect slipcovers, it can get kind of addicting. So you're going to want to pick this up in the first pressing if you're planning on picking up Cursed at all after watching my review. That way you get your slipcover with it. And I did like the cover artwork on their slipcover, and I do like the spine on it. So it is nice to be able to add it to the collection and have that. And that's where Shout Factory and Scream Factory as a boutique label really is collectible and fun to collect. It's a lot like Arrow Video. They have little things that go along with it. And that's like the reversible artwork, their slipcovers, and they'll do booklets on some things. And so this is recommended. 8.8 is a great review score for this. Only thing I probably would have said I would have had added to it maybe was if they could have gotten a hold of that third basically cut of the film that didn't have the original actors in it. I understand that wasn't available and they simply couldn't get a hold of it, so I do understand that, but that is kind of just one of those little things talking about as a reviewer and a collector, that is one cut I wish they could have gotten, but I guess it's just not available, and then maybe there isn't enough of it available to actually even scan that would have ever made sense to actually watch. So I understand that, but it is nice we get the unrated cut and the theatrical cut in this Blu-ray set. Great presentation, great release. Let me know if this is something you're gonna pick up and add to your collection. If you're excited for this, let me know if you're excited for this new type of review. I'm trying out some new things here, giving you all the information, showing you the screenshots above, and giving you this in kind of a little bit more of a condensed format. So I hope you enjoyed this today. Make sure to let me know if you're gonna pick this up. If you decide you're gonna pick up Cursed, make sure to go down to one of those links I posted in the description section below or as a pinned comment. Also, if you enjoyed this review and this review helped you out, make sure to give a super thanks down below or donation through the PayPal donate link in the description section or as a pinned comment. Whenever you give a super thanks, it's just like a tip. It's just like when you go to a restaurant and you enjoy this service. Even if you can only give $1 or $2 on each video you watch of mine, that goes right back into this YouTube channel. It's how I can afford to keep spending the money for this software, spending all my time and energy to create all these videos with all of these screenshots up above. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification if you haven't done so already. I had a fun time with this one. I'm really excited to be getting in Shout and Scream Factory releases for review now. I hope all of you can see this. This is going to be an exciting new thing. I've been waiting to hear back from them for a while. I've been working, trying to get in touch with them. Finally was able to get this done for all of you here on my YouTube channel. So there's going to be a lot more of these Shout Factory and Scream Factory reviews coming out. So it's a very exciting time. Make sure you're subscribed. I hope all of you have a blessed day, and I've got a ton of exciting and new stuff coming out very soon.